Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4NEWS, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today our topic is women and spirituality. The origins of the word spirituality in the context of Christian theology lie in the Latin name spiritualitas, which derived from the Greek noun pneuma, meaning spirit. Interestingly, spirit in its original context was not the opposite of the physical or material, but of flesh or everything that is not of God. Therefore, a spiritual person in its original Christian sense was simply a person within whom the Spirit of God dwelt. The second aspect of spirituality involves a move inward or an attention to one's inner life, often as a means of honoring the immaterial dimensions of life. Spirituality is something that's talked about a lot, but is often misunderstood. Many people think that spirituality and religion are the same thing, and so they bring their beliefs and prejudice about religion to discussions about spirituality. Though all religions emphasize spiritualism as being part of faith, you can be spiritual without being religious or a member of an organized religion. Spirituality involves the recognition of a feeling or sense or belief that there is something greater than myself, something more to being human than sensory experience, and that the greater whole of which we are part is cosmic or divine in nature. Spirituality means knowing that our lives have significance in a context beyond a mundane, everyday existence at the level of biological needs that derives selfishness, and aggression. It means knowing that we are a significant part of a purposeful unfolding of life in our universe. Spirituality involves exploring certain universal themes: love, compassion, altruism, life after death, wisdom, and truth, with the knowledge that some people, such as saints or enlightened individuals, have achieved and manifested higher levels of development than the ordinary person. Aspiring to manifest the attributes of such inspirational examples often becomes an important part of the journey through life for spiritual inclined people. In India, spiritualism is not an obsession of the human mind, rather it is a heritage as well as a continuous tradition. Out of the varied values of Indian culture, those based on spiritualism have contributed a lot, harnessing the spirit of the Indians throughout the ages. With the result, the spiritual-minded Indians have succeeded in maintaining their Indianness, which could not have been possible otherwise. It has been also possible due to the fact that the Indian life is dominated by the temperament which is well marked with spiritualism. Consequent upon that, the Indians have developed various thoughts of philosophy and spiritualism and gave to the world maximum number of systems of spiritualism in the form of philosophical thoughts such as Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, and Vedanta. The Vedas provide spiritual orientation to the Indians, giving them the basics of spiritual and moral life. Hence, the Vedic rishis should be acclaimed as the earliest spiritual masters on earth, as their mantras resound with the kernel of spiritualism and the Indian nation as the cradle of spiritualism. In India, spiritualism is not an obsession of the human mind, rather it is a heritage as well as a continuous tradition. In a world where women have been seen traditionally as someone's wife, mother, daughter, or sister, why would a woman choose to follow a spiritual path? Perhaps because deep inside every woman has a longing to be someone in her own right fully aware of herself, confident and in control. When we talk of spiritual power, we are in fact referring to the original power of the self to be whole and independent, free from the web of domination and suppression, free from the need to exist for someone else's sake. Religion and spirituality are both rooted in trying to understand the meaning of life and, in some cases, how a relationship with a higher power may influence that meaning. While religion and spirituality are similar in foundation, they are very different in practice. Religious Religion is an organized community-based system of beliefs, while spirituality resides within the individual and what they personally believe. The idea of religion and spirituality is like a rectangle versus a square. Within religion, there is spirituality. But if you have spirituality, it does not necessarily mean you have religion. But religion and spirituality can have a positive impact on mental health. In some ways, they provide the same impact. For example, both religion and spirituality can help a person tolerate stress by generating peace, purpose, and forgiveness. But benefits generally vary between the two due to their different nature. Spirituality is a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves. It helps a person look within and understand themselves while also figuring out the greater answer of how they fit it to the rest of the world. In other words, it helps people understand their interpretation of the meaning of life. Spirituality also incorporates healthy practices for the mind and body, which positively influences mental health and emotional well being. It enhances a person's sense of self and empowerment through the choice to decide what their practice look like, focuses on an individual's connection to what they believe it and their own personal growth, accepts any person whether they are part of a religion or not, encourages meditation and self-reflection, leads to a meaningful life philosophy, that is feeling connected to others, nature or art, prompts expression in any form such as art, poetry, myth or religious practice, renews a sense of belonging in the world, inspires appreciation and awareness of a person's interaction with the physical environment. These mental health benefits are not limited to their respective categories individually. It is not exclusive to religion, just like spirituality cannot include a sense of community in some instances. The takeaway is that if presented in a supportive way, religion and spirituality can help people improve their mental health and promote recovery. For the last 2000 years or more, women have not utilized their spiritual power. Instead, aspects of the feminine have taken mainly symbolic form, from the Virgin Mary to the Vestal Virgins, from earth goddesses to the Shakti Devis. On the one hand, women have been put on pedestals and worshipped on account of their purity or femininity. At the same time, they have been excluded from religious practices and barred, even until now, from entering some places of worship. Elevated or exonerated or condemned, the main problem facing women is that they have never been treated as equal to men, either as spiritual leader or spiritual seekers. This lack of equality finds its roots not only in sociological and cultural system, but more particularly within levels of consciousness upon which spirituality and attitudes are ultimately based. And to discuss today the, the women and spirituality, we have a very elite, experienced, knowledgeable panel with us. And I would like to invite my first guest. He is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1976 and did MD in psychiatry in 1980 from King's George Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Mumbai. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 40 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows in domestic and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand, on our show. Dr. Rajiv Anand, as you know, today's topic is women and spirituality. So we would like to know your views on women and spirituality. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Lal. Thank you for the introduction. Welcome to my fellow panelists, Rashi Daga and Radhika Pai and Shama Noorani. All three of you, welcome to this program and welcome to the viewers across Kerala, Karnataka, UP and Bihar and through Global TV other part of the world. And I sincerely, genuinely thank Mr. Lal for keeping the spirit of finding some or other program every day. And when I proposed this topic to Mr. Lal, that spirituality and women, initially it might have sounded a little vague, but I was clear that there is a lot of spiritual strength in women, a lot of spiritual strength in all women across. In fact, I have been a voracious reader for the last 40 years. And I keep on buying books one after another. I buy books back full of, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the spirituality. Just give me 30, 40 seconds. So I kept on exploring books, passionately spirituality by this author, spirituality by that author, spirituality by Shaivism, spirituality by Krishnamurti, spirituality by Osho, spirituality by foreign authors. And I kept on getting sucked more and more, deeper and deeper into various sects, various beliefs, and also a lot of confusion. And then I realized that rather than getting sucked into this conflicting or confusing concepts of spirituality, why not I should pause and go with it and find out whether I would like to know more about spirituality, whether I would like to explore that what is already inside me. And trust me, what I'm going to speak now in next 5-7 minutes, I have never spoken earlier. And I've never even thought earlier, till a few hours before. I realized that in our country, in our society, in our traditional family system, in our great mothers and the grandmothers, much before we begin reading about spirituality, much before we begin reading about spirituality, even the spelling of it, we've already groomed in it. We've already given the practical lessons in it. They never knew the word academically. The mother and the grandmother, or whosoever, I couldn't be fortunate enough to see my grandmother on either side. But I'm one of those fortunate persons to have interacted a lot with my mother. And I cherish and I celebrate that they had practical application of spiritual principles. I personally, individually, irrespective of whatever comments the young generation may give, whatever labels some people may like to, I do not associate spirituality with rituals. I do not associate spirituality with certain Babas, certain gurus, multi-level marketing, global Babas, or certain sects, whatever they may be doing, good luck to them. I personally believe spirituality is applying certain cosmic principles, certain cosmic laws, certain cosmic rules in life, practically day in and day out, practicing more than knowing. practicing more than knowing, and which, when I began looking inside me, I realized much, much more than the books my mother has taught me. She was the biggest encyclopedia. She was the biggest source of information or the knowledge, which I realized rather belatedly. I wish I should have realized much earlier. That's why I have a great respect for women in general. Even though these days, in today's world, if you say it aloud, people take you as having mischievous intention. People think if you praise some girl or some lady, they think you are hitting on her. You're finding qualities in her face or in the body or in her figure. Far from it. My mother's grooming me has made me develop original, true, genuine respect for those qualities in women, which are original qualities which come from much, much higher power. And I would describe it. What do I mean by it? The word spirituality has got different connotation, different meaning for different people. If you assemble 100 people and ask them to give 5-minute speech on spirituality, everybody would come out his own version. Everybody would come out his own ashram, his own guru, and would like to poach his view on others, would like to rather force his views on others, would have his own arti and would have his own mantra, would have his own yoga, would have his own certain exercises. This is what spirituality is. What I have learned from my mother and from other women also whom I happen to see closely during my formative years and thereafter subsequent years also. Applied spirituality is far better than academic spirituality. And applied spirituality is simply just being simple as best as you can. Being simple, being humble as best as you can. And accepting everything. I'm talking about what I learned from my mother. I'm talking about spirituality and women. And I saw it being practiced from the closest quarter from the women. Women, the first woman in my life was my mother. Acceptance of everything. I think most men have no idea about how much a woman accepts, right from the time of growing up, dependent on the grandparent or parent or brother or mother, or right from the time of menarche, when the period begins, all throughout the monthly cycle, menstrual period, to the menopause, pre-menopause, through menopause, post-menopause, men cannot understand how much they accept the journey, how much they accept what happens in their body in and out. So acceptance, one of the greatest quality applied part with spirituality. Second is the trust in the process, trust in the bigger power, as Mr. Lal very rightly said. Trust in much bigger power that whatever is happening will pass away. Trust in the bigger power which is guiding this universe. Trust in the bigger power which has brought us to this world and others too. So that trust is another spiritual strength. Almost all women do have it. And the third quality which I saw applied in spirituality, and that's where I celebrate women, that they celebrate. The spirituality should be visible in your behavior, in your language, in your energy. You should celebrate life. I'm seeing behind the greenery of where Rashri is sitting in Goa. That's celebration. I'm seeing bright colors Radhika is wearing. That is celebrating life. I always see Shama as very warm smile. That's a celebration of life. Celebration does not necessarily means that blowing the trumpet or making the drum music. Celebration means accepting and celebrating whatever we have. Our mothers have celebration round the year. This week ये भगवान की पूजा होगी, अगले वीक वो कथा होगी, अगले वीक महालक्ष्मी जय वो होगा, कभी सत्यनारायण की कथा होगी, कभी ये जाप होगा, कभी वो भजन होगा, कभी कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी होगी, कभी दिवाली होगी, कभी रक्षाबंधन होगा. अरे राउंड द ईयर many youngsters frown these days. कितने त्योहार होते हैं हिंदुस्तान में? Many super intelligent youngsters, they frown at the old outdated method of celebration. They think celebration happens only in the permit room or in the bar. No, celebration of the life happens day in and day out, and that was the women do have the capacity. Then the fourth quality I have seen in women, and that's where I say I adore women. As I said, talking about women, adoring them, finding them fascinating is a crime these days. and I've often been suspected for committing this crime. If I say, Rashi, you have wonderful quality, Rashi would think that I'm hitting on her. If I say, Radhika, wow, you have so many qualities, Radhika may, if she does not understand me, would think that I'm acting fresh with her. This is what the world has come to, courtesy of our young generation, because they always think that connect to a woman only when you have certain lusts or you have certain needs. Far from it. The quality of giving, the power of giving. Women were the only person in our life we have seen closely who gave much more than they received. And that's the spiritual quality. Shama, I hope you are listening intently. Power of giving much more than receiving. Whole universe give to us much, much more than we receive. Whole universe work on the principles of spirituality. Women have that power of giving far more than what they receive. And the next quality which I have seen in action is power of praying. Power of praying. Praying to certain higher powers. We have seen it from our women in our life. The first woman, as I mentioned about my mother, power of connecting to the higher sources. There were so many methods. There's so many different approaches to connect to the roots. I really feel sorry for many young people who are highly educated, who are very intelligent, who are intellectual, but they have forgotten to connect to the roots. They don't want to mention their native place. They don't want to mention their parents' name. They don't want to mention about which school they have been to. They don't want to mention about their childhood friends. While we have to connect to the roots first, wherever we are, whichever, whether we are brought up in Mangalore or whether we are brought up in Bombay, we have to connect to the roots, and then the roots beyond that, the power which has brought us over here, the superpower which is sustaining us, superpower which is nurturing us. So we have seen this applied spirituality through our mother of connecting to the roots through various methods, nurturing the roots. I would finish my presentation, I would finish my talk just in about a minute or so. If you imagine about mother, what things come to the mind of any individual? The love, the infinite love, never-ending love, never finishing. Women of that era have 7, 8 children and have love equal for everyone, even the youngest one. And they lived 40, 50 years with their husband, and they had never-ending love for the husband. Women of today's era, they don't think of bringing one child. They can't dare to think of bringing second child. They can't sustain their love for their fiancé. They can't sustain one marriage for even 10 years, 5 years. They break down further. So women, when they applied spirituality, they had connection with the source, original source of love, never-ending love. Love not what is the understood in the present context. Love far, far beyond it, far, far beyond it. So I'm just in the last 1 minute or so, 2 minutes or so. Applied spirituality has been seen, has been practiced by all women. I may not say in other part of the world, but I presume that women, wherever they are, little less, a little more, all of them, they are alike. The power of giving, the power of loving, power of connecting, being humble, being tolerant, being sensible, being sensitive, accepting whatever way things happen, celebrating life in the minimum of the means. Where else we can see, except the last 30, 40, 50 years of this so-called industrial revolution, and USA backed, USA promoted, USA propagated luxurious gadgets, which each one of us do have it. Even now we are using it. Where our parents were, they had much less means, they had much less gadgets. Even the radio was a luxury, even the transistor was a luxury. And we celebrated life. Wasn't that applied spirituality? Spirituality is not lying only in ashram, not a monopoly of certain gurus. Spirituality is, how can I live happily, joyfully, healthily, and how can I connect to the other people equally so happily, without any exchange at the lower level, but at the higher level. How I accept whichever community, whichever class, whichever caste anyone may be, whichever religion anyone may be, irrespective who is belonging to which religion, accepting other person is the highest concept of spirituality. But when we look
I think we lost Dr. Anand. Anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Anand. We lost your connection, but we will connect you again. But what Dr. Anand has mentioned very clearly about the spirituality, and he says spirituality is not in the ashrams or with the monopoly of some. Spirituality is basically with everyone, especially for the women. And according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, he has given the new dimension of spirituality. He mentioned that the spirituality means the women, and the women, he has given the details. He says the women, the first women a person who sees is a mother, and mother is always working tirelessly round the year for the benefit or the for the happiness of the family. And this is only possible because they are spiritual. It has nothing to do with in any religion. They always give more and accept very less. They give their love is unconditional, and they celebrate, and they are celebrating in adverse conditions, whether they have money or means or not, but they celebrate every day, every moment. And according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, this is spiritualism. You have to be humble. You have to be person who is giving, who is not expecting anything from others, who are doing work, believing only one thing, that whatsoever he or she is doing, it's for others. And in that case, according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, women are far, far ahead than men, because women's life is like that from the very beginning, once she born and when till the end. And that's why Dr. Rajiv Anand says that he only believes that the women is the real spiritual leaders, spiritual gurus, not those gurus who are running a ashrams or yoga ashrams, etc., etc. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving a new dimensions of spiritualism. I am sure our viewers have also got a new definition of spiritualism, which is not available, and especially how you have connected the women with the spiritualism, which is very, very important in today's time. And Dr. Rajivan has also mentioned about the new generation. Yes, I agree with him up to an extent, but I will add one thing. Dr. Rajivanan, what he said is right, that the new generation is not understanding. But this new generation, when they grow more and when they become the older generation, then they realize what the earlier generation was telling them was right, and then they tends to go to the spiritualism automatically. They will celebrate the spiritualism, as Dr. Rajiv Anand has said, not at that time in the bars and permit room. They will be celebrating definitely again in the same festivals. So the young generation, the message which Dr. Rajiv Anand has given is, try to understand, this is the time you must understand what is spiritualism. No religion, no nothing, no babas, no such type of rituals. It is purely love, love, and love. And you should do the work without any gains, with proper good intentions. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving very, very strong and valid messages. Now, I would like to introduce my next guest, and she is Miss Rashri Daga. Miss Rashri Daga is a homemaker, an entrepreneur, traveler, a gardener. She is practicing performing arts, working with senior citizens and special kids. She is beautifully balancing all avenues of life and the challenges it throws. According to her, when she started counting her blessings, her whole life turned around. She ever since her mantra is keep smiling and always be in gratitude. Miss Rashri Daga, just unmute yourself. We can see that you are still, even now you are smiling, and you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned. I need not to repeat. So I would like now you to give your views on women and spirituality. Miss Rashri Daga, please.
Namaste. I would like to do it the Indian way. I bow down to everyone, the divine in you. Thank you for having me on this webinar. And special thanks to Mr. Rajiv Anand for inviting me. And welcome viewers all over India and globally, and my family and friends who are here to support me. So, Mr. Lal has given us a beautiful introduction, and Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned beautiful points about how we women have it inside us. So, taking a leaf from there, I would like to share my life experiences, that how spirituality came to me. I believe it's there within us. Everyone has it, but not necessarily there is a time set to it. Some could have it early in life, some could have in their middle age, some could have very late in life. So for me, I would begin with my childhood, that it was parents and elders saying, okay, it's Lakshmi Puja, bow down to the goddess. It's Ganesh Chaturthi, pray. So there was never a connection felt with the godliness. It was maybe out of fear or because your elders told you. So this journey was there, the childhood, casual, carefree. So there was no connection, I felt, never. When married, came into a joint family where one rule was for everyone. And we had a like idol worship was very important in our family. So many a times when I worshiped the idol, I said I'm just doing it like mundane, giving the Krishna the bath, dressing him up, putting the bhog. So now, thanks for this, because these 2 days it took me back to my those days. I could now be clear that yes, this happened to me, but I couldn't express it. That I have no connection. I'm doing it because my family wants me to do it, and it's the same Krishna which I feel now. He's my sakha. I talk to him. I sometimes even shout at him. I have a little fight with him. This comes when you have reached, when you've become aware that yes, you can speak, you have a say of yourself, and you have connected on the higher level. So, and now this came to me 10 to 11 years ago. I saw my youngest son, how beautifully he was connecting himself and conducting himself. He was an environmentalist. So during the summer days, carrying 10 liters in his hand, water, and watering those alleys of planters in his colony, he said that the VMC doesn't do it. They do it once a week. So I have to take care, digging up the entire soil where people throw the pan masala packets and all, and doing it religiously. So these small things, being humble, seeing the good in everyone. In fact, I started treating him as my guru. It's not necessarily that we have to go to some sadhu or sant to get that enlightenment. There could be any family member who could, that one incident or many incident could bring that change in you. And that happened 11, 12 years ago with my son, younger son. I saw him, and then beautiful memories I have with him. I lost him. Now, this was the loss, a full grown child of 21 years old. A mother, how does a mother feel? It's universal. Everyone will feel the pain, the loss, why it happened to me. You ask the God, ask God, what did I do wrong? But then it is that inner strength, that awareness that I went inside deep, and I said, no, there is a reason. This beautiful soul, he came to my house, he came to our family, he spread 21 beautiful years, and now he is making some other family happy. He is beautifying that area, whatever. So this is my awakening, I said. So I thank him, and I'm in gratitude that he has brought this change in me. From there, it was no looking back. I have taken off and I have understood life. Now I feel my expression of spirituality would be giving joy to others. Whatever talent God has given me, performing arts, teaching the kids, spreading joy through being humble, loving, and I do that. I'm so thankful to the senior citizen group. They have welcomed me so beautifully that each and every time I am remembered and they want me to perform with them, to teach them. So this is that I am touching each and everyone's soul when they come and give me a hug and bless me. So that every day, a little strength I'm deriving from whatever life has given thrown challenges. So I'm trying to make lemonade out of the lemons thrown at me, actually. And then again, just 2 years ago, not to, after I lost my son, after that again I lost my husband. So again, what is this? Why are you doing this? So then this inner strength that the women develops, that no, there is some more, something defined for you. There's something more that he wants you to do. Then I understood that no, I have a purpose now in life. Never be on the lower plane. Try to, yes, it comes, I agree to it, but then how to come out of it? I have so many things to be in gratitude. There are so many other things that are there that people do not have. I have an elder son who takes care of me, and I'm blessed with so many friends and family. And now I try to be teaching, teaching continuously to these younger, innocent kids. Why we always like to be with these little ones? Because they bring us memories of our childhood and we feel so frolicky. I would always say that there is magic in life. So uh, it's 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 that affirmation that I want to be happy. It's that affirmation that there is in me the strength to overcome all the challenges that life is throwing on you. That makes you every day a new energy, a new rejuvenated you are. You know, you feel okay today and feel yourself. Say thank you for that. You are alive today. You have woken up alive. That's the beauty. It's a gift. Take every day as a gift. I believe in that. And this strength comes when I go inside. Every day I talk to this beautiful person who I am. We talk on WhatsApp media, we chat, we are talking to people. But what about talking to ourselves, to oneself? Enjoy that person being with you. Be a friend to yourself first. Then you get all your answers, you get your inner strength. That's spirituality to me. Maybe I don't like yoga, but I would like a Bollywood dance workout. So that's expression. Do if what makes you happy, that brings the inner strength to you. Maybe a walk on the beach. Maybe some people enjoy working at the office. Some people just like to unwind by reading a book. And definitely, I would say reading helps. Reading really helps because when I read, I get this power in me to again every day have a head start and go and take on life as it is. So I do not know the time, Mr. Lal. Please let me know.
No, no, please go ahead if you want
Okay.
to. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Or
So
if you,
my
yes, go ahead.
so two tragedies in life and my guru, which I saw, I made my son my guru, has helped me to build my inner strength. And I would say that every woman has in him, in her. So it is that awakening, that moment or the incidents. Be aware, explore your spiritual core. Just like the gym instructor says that work your core. I think we should work our spiritual core. And if we do not talk, if we are not aware of ourselves, never we will achieve the spiritual being, spiritual strength. So it is very important, I feel, that we talk to ourselves, see what we want, what makes us happy, and go out and do the act. It's not that I am deriving inspiration from Mr. Anand or Mr. Lal. That inspiration has to be converted into action. So every day I think, what should I be doing today, Rajshri? What should I do to make myself happy and the others people around me? So how do I touch the soul? This is the highest form of spirituality, which I feel comes to me, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful to the universe that it gives me this energy, this boost. Okay, Mr. Lal?
Okay.
Please
Okay.
let me. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You were listening me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Rashri, for giving your views about the women and spirituality. She has mentioned that she struck with two tragedies in her life when she lost her son, a 21 years old son, as well as afterwards her husband. And in spite of that, she gained more strength, inner strength, because she found that after all, whatsoever they are there, they are for some noble cause. They are here and they are wherever they are might be doing a noble cause there. And that is the spirituality according to Ms. Rashi Daga. She says that if you understand yourself, if you know how to keep yourself happy, then you can keep others happy. You can do whatsoever suits you, but it should be such that it should be giving happiness to others also. You have to be humble. You have to think, you have to see yourself and try to see what you have to do today, how to keep yourself happy and others happy. According to Ms. Daga, this is real spiritualism. And she has mentioned that how she was working when she was a small kid, how she was performing the rituals which are required. And now, when she understood what is the meaning of spiritualism, she knows what is the universal guiding force among us. So thank you very much, Ms. Rashri. I am sure our viewers might be again very much enlightened with your views on the women and spirituality. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Shama Nurani. Miss Shama Nurani is an angel healer at Mumbai. From childhood, she was exposed to dramatically opposite sets of religious beliefs. Although it created a bit of confusion in her early age, with the age she experienced more of life. Now she is a professional psyche, medium, and angel healer, totally on the spiritual path of love and light. Welcome, Ms. Shama Nurani, on our show. Please unmute yourself, Ms. Shama. You have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned and what Ms. Rashri has mentioned, and both have given different types of their views on women and spiritualism, but a new dimensions which you cannot, at least I could not find on the Google, and I could not, I think it's not there in the books. So these their own experiences which they have given. As Dr. Rajivanand has rightly said, that if you will ask 50 or 100 gurus, they will give their different definitions of spiritualism. And when we are talking about women and spirituality, I think that gives a very, very new dimensions at all. So now we would like to know from you, the women and spirituality. Ms. Shama Nurani, please.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for having me on your panel. Thank you, Rajiv, for thinking about me. Radhika, I'm sorry, Rajshri, I absolutely loved your, whatever you shared with us. Thank you very much. It touched many chords in me as well. And I hope I can, add to it now. Yeah, so basically, when I read the topic was women and spirituality, my first thought was, I don't think spirituality is, gender driven at all. And definitely it isn't. Um, Perhaps women are more open to spirituality compared to. Uh, Doctor, can you mute yourself, please? I can hear all the sounds. Dr. Lal.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hearing all your.
Okay, I will mute.
Thank
Just
you.
hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So, right from the time I was a child, I was exposed to two diametrically opposite, visions, as you might say, of spirituality. From the age of 0 to 13, I was brought up in a household. We were Muslims by, I guess we were converted Muslims. My grandmother used to pray the Bhagavad Gita. She used to do puja every day. There were flowers sent to our house every day. You know, we celebrated all the festivals. There was no, you're a Muslim, so you don't celebrate Diwali, or you're a Muslim, you don't go to the temple. Or I studied in a convent and went to church when necessary. In fact, my school was right next to a church. And I grew up, you know, to the age of 13, totally independent of religion. I didn't, you know, think that religion was important at all at that stage. Then from 13 to 20, my mother, due to, you know, circumstances beyond her control, moved to her parents' house. And her parents are very different, or were very different to my grandparents, and the household was very different too. And so I was exposed to like namaz 5 times a day, and they used to pray the Quran. It was very ritualistic. There were rosas, and you know, we were forced to pray, you know, in a language which I didn't understand. And I think till I was about 20, I did whatever had to be done for fear of, you know, I was always told that if you don't pray, you'll go to hell. You know, God's sword will fall on you and you'll be punished, and all sorts of stuff which I guess families do tell their little ones. And one day when I was 20, I remember this very clearly. And I was very close to God. I always used to speak with him or her, whichever way you look at it. I always had a very deep connection with my maker. One day I remember I was praying namaz, and I was saying the things that I was supposed to say. And I could hear my grandmother shouting at the maids. I could hear the doorbell ringing. I could hear the honking downstairs. I could hear everything. And there I was praying in a language that I didn't understand. And I just said, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't need to. I mean, when I chat with God, I have a much clearer connection with Him than this, because I don't understand what I'm doing. So that was the last day that I picked up courage with both hands and decided that, okay, if I get punished, I get punished. And, you know, whatever will be, but I'm just going to go with my soul and how I feel. And that is exactly what I did. And I've never regretted it. That was the day I actually started my life as a spiritual person. Spirituality to me is not religion, you know. Yes, a religious person can be spiritual, but a spiritual person doesn't necessarily have to be religious. And to me, religion is rituals. So if you take ritualism out of religion, I think you get what is totally a spiritual person. Uh, yes, women tend to be much more open to spiritualism, which is why, you know, they question less. I know basically many men would question spirituality. My son, for instance, he's 28, and he's been brought up with me talking about angels and walking, you know, on the path and staying in the now, and, you know, not allowing yourself to worry, you know, handing over your worries to the universe. And although he used to say yes, 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 you know, like just to fob me off, I knew he never really wanted to accept it. Now, about a month or so ago, he's in New Zealand now. He rang me up and he told me that he's, you know, like following this person in America, and what he said makes so much sense. And this is exactly what you told me. And, it's taken me so long to actually walk on the path. And I said, well, there's no time for that. There's no time limit. You can start early or you can start late. But it's the enlightenment which is the most important. And that's what's happened to you. So there is no age, as Rajshi very, rightly said. It's just how you are and how you feel within. Um, to me, spirituality is linked with karma. Everything that happens in our life is karmically connected, whether it is meeting people, whether it's sadly losing people in your life. When I say that, I don't mean it's a punishment. I mean that our time with someone is over. I lost my dad when I was 9. And to date, I still cannot accept that he's no more. Though I know he's no more. Being a medium, I connect with him, I speak with him. But just the feeling that he's no more in this world, the feeling that I felt when I first came to know, that feeling is always going to be with me, you know. So I realized much later on that people come into our lives for a certain amount of time, and once our karma with each other is done, they depart. It's the same thing with relationships. Why do we get married to someone and have 2 3 children, and suddenly we realize that our time with each other is over? That's because the children chose us, to come to we were the parents that they chose. And once our duty to bring them into this life is over, then the choice is ours to move on or to stay in the same relationship. So to me, as I said, spirituality and karma are both linked. As far as men and women are concerned, as I started off by saying, I feel men question a lot more, which is perhaps why they find it's quite difficult, to accept spirituality, to speak to an unknown force, to believe in an unknown force, to believe that there's something inside you which can give you all the right answers. All you have to do is tap into it. And that's what I do on a regular basis. Like I keep myself sane by tapping into my higher self and my connection with spirit, with God, with the angels. And I started on this path in 2003, and I've never looked back. It's been the most awesome 18 years of my life. Yes, I have had pitfalls, I've had issues, I've had heartbreaks, even, I've had relationships breaking down, loss. But as Rajshi said, there's something inside you that, makes you strong, something that you tap into and gives you the strength to carry on. And I'm very grateful to all my experiences. And I think it's very important for us at our age to start completing our karmas as far as possible and clearing a lot of rubbish before we become one with the universe. I came across a very nice little passage. Oh God, I've switched my phone off, it was ringing. uh, I think I'll just share it later. So, you know, I'm really grateful for spirituality to be a big part of my life. On that on that sentence, I think I'm going to end my talk.
Oh, okay, thank you very much, Ms. Shama Rani, for giving your views. And she started by saying that earlier she is a Muslim, but her forefathers might be Hindus. She's not sure, but she says that they might be converted because her grandmother used to perform all the Hindus' religion, pujas, etc. But she says that afterwards, when she grew, she found that she has to perform the namaz 5 times, because her family were performing 5 times namaz, and it was the language which she's not understanding at that time. But in spite of that, she used to perform. But one day she decided that now it's enough is enough, and she connected herself with her soul, with inside. And she says, then I started thinking, what is spiritualism? And in that way, she has started connecting. She said that, and then she started getting lots of peace of mind, although lots of problems came. And she believes in karma, and she says that karma and spiritualism are very interconnected with each other. She says the religion is not that, because if you take out the rituals from religion, then you are going for the spiritualism. So she is very clear in her views that spiritualism has nothing to do with the religion, but it has to do with your karma and how you go inside of you and analyze yourself and try to connect with the pupil. Although she is an angel reader and she is using the medium to connect, she says that she is connecting those who are not even, no, they are no more now. So that is what she mentioned. But she says that happiness, what she is getting now, is eternal, and this is because of her karmas as well as because of spiritualism. Thank you very much, Ms. Shama, for giving your very enlightening views. Again, you have given a new dimension of spiritualism. Let's hope that our viewers are getting different dimensions of spiritualism today. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite my last guest, and she is Miss Radhika Pai. Miss Radhika Pai is an ex-banker, and now she is the chairman of Vidya Shilp Community Trust, Bangalore. She is a Reiki and crystal healer. She is keen and curious to learn, hence unlearning to learn constantly. Miss Radhika Pai, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand, what Ms. Rashri, as well as what Ms. Shama has spoken earlier to you. And they have spoken in all different views they have given. Now we would like to know from you, the women and spirituality. Miss Radhika Pai, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. And as already as what Dr. Rajiv has said and what Rajeshri said, what Shama said, I just would continue with the same topic in a different light. I would rather share my experiences, how I stumbled upon spirituality. Well, growing up, I'm a South Indian. My parents were very devout, so I would rather say very ritualistic in their attitude. So I learned, I would just go along with the flow. I think a child doesn't realize, a child does exactly what the parent wants it to do. So be it a puja, be it anything, I would just do it because mommy has said so. My mother wanted us to learn English. So she put me in a convent. Little did my mother know that, I would also have an interest to learn what Christianity is all about. So it so happened that once when I was in school, so the nun who was teaching us took us to the church, and then she told us, she said, "See, we have got one God, whereas you Hindus have got so many gods." And I must have been 5 or 6 years old, and I turned around and said, "Isn't that nice, mother, that we have so many gods? Suppose you're praying and God is in the toilet. He cannot come because you have only one God, whereas we've got so many gods that if one is in the toilet, the other one will come." So that was my first, what do you say? I would rather say this is how I started seeing God differently. For me, God was not someone who I had to fear. I continue even now with that same belief that I don't think he punishes. I don't know why this concept of God will punish us for whatever we do wrong. I don't think so. I think he's like a mother. He will always forgive us for whatever we do. It's all up to us. Anyway, as life went on, I got married, went to Dubai, lived there for 38 years, and now we are back to India. But when I was in Dubai, it so happened that my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's, and again, looking after a person who's not keeping well, you get into that thing. And I was in my late 30s, and I would be like, why is this happening to me? I could not handle the situation. Children to take care of, husband to take care of. I gave up my job as a banker. so that we could take care of our mom. Now, she was the priority for us, but it also took a toll on my health, took a toll on my mental health. That's when I started going to, I would not want to name where I went, but I went there to learn a breathing technique, which helped me immensely at that given point. But again, there I realized that people were just following someone. That was not what I wanted to do. I started reading intensively. When I started reading intensely, I realized that there is so much knowledge that everyone is sharing. So much that Jiddu Krishnamurti says, or Khalil Gibran says. So many of the works that I read. But ultimately, what I realized was I am made differently. My problems are different. Everyone's DNA is not the same. I believe that everyone's problems also are not the same. So when we seek something out, we're not going to get the answers, because whatever problems we have, the solution is only with us. We have created these problems and we only have the solution to it. My take on spirituality is, I would, again, like I said, I am still the same person that I was. I'm not going to, I'm not the type to go and confront anyone or say that what you all are doing is wrong. I'm ritualistic to the sense that if need be for the peace of the house, I will do those rituals. It's just that it will make everybody happy. But if it's let on my own, I would not want to. Like I said earlier, this is only to see that if I believe that if I'm going to force my opinions on somebody else and say that I don't think it's right to be ritualistic, in my view, that's wrong. I do what I want to do, but I don't force my opinions either on my husband or my children. No one. Another instance I can tell you on how women are treated differently. Just recently, my brother passed away. Now, he was alone and he was in the old age home. And it so happened that no one else could come. His son was not available to come. And I went to get to the cremation. The mindset of our people is such that the Purohit told me, he said, no, Ma, you can't do it. And I asked him, I said, why can't I do the ritual? He said, no, you're a woman. And I said, well, I think I know that, but why are you stopping me from doing it? He said, no, anyone else, any man can do it. कोई आदमी कर सकता है, औरत ये काम नहीं कर सकती, दाह संस्कार औरत कर ही नहीं सकती. And I told him, I said, no, I refuse to believe, to agree with you. You're telling me that if I can't do it, what's the option? The option would be the ambulance driver. He's somebody else. Then I went ahead, did my brother's, I did all the rituals that's required for the cremation, cremated him. Trust me, I don't think there is. And again, when I came back, after the ritual, he told me, he said, you have to go to the temple, you have to do a prayer, you have to do a kshama, you have to ask God for forgiveness. And I was like, forgiveness for what? So he says, no, because you're a woman and you have gone ahead and done this ritual. This is where our whole mindset of how women were always kept away from spiritualism, from even in religion. We never had a part ever to play. Today, I think women are understanding this. I think women are coming out of their shell and they are coming and staking a claim. This is what we all should really be doing. A mother who's a giver, a mother who's given birth, something which is not possible easily, right? That's a lot of pain that she goes through. She doesn't mind going through that pain again to give birth to another child. She's the person who forgives her child, irrelevant of what. And like doctor said, it is unconditional, infinite love that a mother has. That's what a woman is all about. Today, after coming back to India, I think I have found my ikigai. I look after these government schools, and trust me, there is nothing better than giving back to society. Not expecting anything back from them. In fact, I think I owe it to them. I owe it to society. I owe it to these these children, these underprivileged children. I want to ensure that they study well. They have a better life, better than what they're leading here. And trust me, anytime any of you come to Bangalore, please come and visit the Vidyashri Community Trust government schools, and you will see those happy children. Happy for no reason. That's how we all should be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Radhika Pai, for giving your views. And Ms. Radhika Pai mentioned very clearly that she, from the childhood, she was doing whatsoever she was told by mother and everyone, but she has a brush in the initial time only with when she was in the convent school, when she asked, when the nun has told her that there is one God in Christianity and so many gods in Hindus. So she replied, and she said this is advantageful for the so many gods. So she says that time she started questioning why these things are happening, and she had long things. She has to sacrifice her career because she has to take care of her mother-in-law in Dubai. And when she came back, again there were family loss. She lost her brother, and she wanted to do the rituals because no one was there. But the priest said, no, you can't do it being a woman. And then she was thinking why it is happening like this in India. So she says that's why now she is giving, she is teaching, she has formed a trust, and she is giving teaching to the underprivileged children, and the happiness which they are enjoying and she is enjoying. This is real spirituality according to Miss Radhika Pai. Thank you very much, Miss Radhika Pai. And definitely whenever we will come to Bengaluru, definitely would like to visit the place where so much happiness is there. So at least we may also get some happiness. Thank you very much, Ms. Pai, for giving your views. Now I would like to go to Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand, you have heard everyone, and everyone has given, including you, a different dimension or different definition or different way or to express about the spiritualism, and especially in context with the women. Now, my question to you is, because you are a renowned psychiatrist, do you think spiritualism has anything to mental health, and especially the women mental health? Because as you have mentioned, and everyone has mentioned, that women are more spiritual than the men. So whether too much or less spiritualism is going to have any impact on mental health? Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Thank you for raising a very pertinent question, which is a burning problem all across the globe. The mental health problems are increasing like wildfire from any corner of the world to other end of the world. And the basic reason is that the connection every individual should have had with his or her roots is eroding alarmingly. We are going away from our parents, we are going away from our brothers, sisters, we are going away from our friends. And we have thrown the God out of our life. We have thrown the so-called religion and spirituality of our life because we don't want to believe it based on our logic, based on our questioning power. As you said, and I go back to the original topic of women in spirituality, the women has traditionally been worshipped in our Indian society. And I have no qualms in saying aloud, they have been worshipped. And our forefathers or great saints and sages were not fooled that they worship women. Be it Durga, be it Saraswati, be it Lakshmi, they were the goddesses. And they were worshipped because they were closer to the God, not an imaginary individual God, but for the godly or divine qualities. So when we think about women and spirituality, what exactly we mean about it, the certain qualities which our mothers and grandmothers have practiced to begin with, like basic education, formative education, then matriculation and graduation. As they practice, as they go higher in those divine qualities, as they go higher in the application of the spiritual or cosmic principles, I don't call spirituality a spirituality, I call it applied science. I don't believe in anybody becoming ठेकेदार of spirituality of any which way. I call it applied science, applied cosmic principles. If I'm out to earn billions of rupees and I call myself to be spirituality, probably something is wrong with my mind. If I want to have 200 to 200 millions chelas to me who should worship me, I am the only reincarnation God. Possibly some mistake, something wrong with my mind. I need a psychiatrist. So applied spirituality, applied principle of cosmic laws, universal laws, which make individual life better and automatically inspires and motivate other people's life better. So women do have that proximity to those divine qualities of tolerance, of acceptance, of forbearance, of resilience, of providing more love, providing nurturance, providing support, of going through the pain, unsung, unheard. How many men can have these qualities? So many of these qualities and the inner strength, all these qualities, and as they practiced, as they went higher, society had been created not by entirely men, not entirely by men. Society has been nurtured through the ages because of the massive, very significant contribution by the women all across the globe. And today, unfortunately, we teach women only as body, only as curves, because of media, because of wrong kind of connotation. And many women also believe that they are nothing more than that. I feel very sad about it. Those women who believe that they are just a woman, nothing else than that, and they can't see, and they see the same image in the eyes of the men across, even if the man may have different respect for him. But they see all men are having the eye on their figure. Very sad aspect of today's media has made this notion around. Women were traditionally worshipped, and whichever society, last two sentences, whichever society has celebrated women and have worshipped women has always gone higher and higher. And the other side, whichever society has ill-treated women, kept them down, not respected them, deprived them of their basic right, leave aside the higher respect, deprived them of the basic right, have gone down and down and down. And we can correlate it with whatever is happening world over. Thank you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Only the last point I would like to just highlight. You mentioned whichever society celebrates the women, they are going high, and those who are not, they are depriving the women, they are going down. If we will talk about our country, we not only celebrate, we worship the women. But after worshipping, after those few days of worshipping, whether it's if we are talking in Hinduism about the Durga Puja or Navratri days, what we are doing and what we are seeing and what we are reading today everywhere in the media, and what is happening and how we are behaving or treating the women of country, are we going up or going down? That is a very, very burning question, which I think it's a different topic, which I will be discussing again. But what Dr. Rajiv Anand has said makes sense. Yes, you have to see to it. If you want real spiritualism, you have to respect the women. If we will respect the women, then only we can say that we are spiritual. Otherwise, we are not. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Now, my question goes to Ms. Rashri Daga, please. Ms. Rashri, you have mentioned that you are very close to Lord Krishna. You used to talk, you used to scold. Now, you see Lord Krishna as a Lord or God, or you see, like you mentioned, the Sakha. Sakha means friend, intimate friend. Or you see like a ordinary person who is there, who can be today Lord Krishna, or if any other religion, someone else. So, spirituality and the religion, do you think they are more or less same, and especially for women, or something different? Because you also mentioned about Lord Krishna and you are talking about spirituality. So my question to you is that spirituality and religion are more or less same for the women or not? Ms. Rashri Daga, please. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute.
So the first thing, the question was that is Krishna an ordinary man for you? So when I am extraordinary, when I am born, my soul is born extraordinary. How can my Sakha be a normal person or an ordinary person? He is far, far extraordinary than all of us. I take it that way. And because he has those supreme powers and the powers to be a very close friend, so the equation becomes totally different and personal, each to his own. Now, the second question is religion and spiritualism different? Yes, for me, it is different. To do an agarbatti it would be very ritualistic, but not just sitting in your room, or it could be anywhere in the park or on the bench besides the tree that I've planted in the memory of my son. That could just be a wow moment for me. So that's spirituality. But religion is totally different according to me. I also want to say this down friends in South who are so religious to come out and interact with your women group and express your feelings, be vocal, because in India, South is considered to be the most religious hub, where women are really, really very religious. But are they also entering their spiritual zone? So that is my take from this, that please do think about this and try to be interactive. Just have forums where you can just express, no religion around, just express what you feel, and be that are you aware of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rashri, for giving your views. I can only add one thing, that, as you mentioned about the South, yes, South is a very religious place, no doubt about it. But here, people respect women like anything. Unlike, because I belongs to North, and I have seen what is the condition. So that's why I say that in India, the women conditions are not that great. Although we pray, we worship them, but we are just worshipping them only those days or only on those festivals or particular days. Otherwise, we are not in that way. Thank you very much, Ms. Rashi, for giving your views. Now I'm going to, my question goes to Ms. Shama. Ms. Shama, you have heard what Ms. Rashi mentioned about the supreme power. That she says that Lord Krishna is far having very, very supreme power, far supreme. Do you believe in this? If yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, as soon as Rajshi started talking, like I knew I connected with what she was saying. Um, it's just as she very rightly said, and we all know, we're all unique. Each individual is unique in this world, and each individual's spirituality is unique too. And I totally agree with what you said, Rajshi. I could.
okay. So, according to you, can a human being like you can also get those supreme power, or it is only reserved for certain supreme people like God or
I
okay.
see, just the way we are 3D and God is light, we can't be light. We can be our bodies. We are 3D bodies. So to say that, exemplify ourselves to that height, I would say there are no comparisons. We are what we are, and as we develop ourselves as human beings, we go up in our outlook. We drop a lot of inhibitions. We drop a lot of tera mera, all that. Then we raise our vibration. So we can raise our vibration as we go along. But to compare the two, I'd say it's like water and oil. You can't mix the two, but you can combine it. You can kind of fuse the two together through your experiences, your love, your connection. Like Rajshi's connection with Krishna Bhagwan is very, very strong. We all need some focus, some point of connection for our beliefs. And to me, that is what religion is all about. When I see people zealously going to, the mandir, and, whatever they do, ganti bajao, diya jalao, it's all like a connection, like it's a connection, a point of focus. To me, my connection is the light, the sun. To me, God is the sun. And that's my connection. So each one's connection is different. So I would say, to exemplify anything I think it would be really minimizing spirituality. I don't know if Rajshi agrees with me.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Shama, for giving your views. Now
Thank you, Doctor.
I would like to go to Ms. Radhika Pai. Ms. Radhika Pai, you have narrated your experience, how the mindset of the people today in India is still so orthodox, and which do you think we must change the mindset of the society because of this new things, or not new things, because the women now understood their power. They know, they have been educated. Earlier, they were not that much educated, although they are more knowledgeable, as Dr. Rajivanand has said. But I am saying the education, what we are getting, whether it is in convent or the college or schools, and they know that they are more giver, not the receiver for everything. Then why they are not allowed to do many rituals? And as you know, as I have mentioned in very few of the worship places, they are not allowed to
They're
enter.
not allowed.
Okay. So now I would like to know whether we would like to change the mindset of the society. What you say about this?
Definitely, it's time that we change the way we think. You know, it's 110%. This is the time. This is the moment. You know, why are we still being so regressive? Why are we still doing this kind of divide? You know, between aap alag ho, main alag hu. Kyun? We are one. We are one. We've come from the source as one. Baad mein hum bat gaye. You know, so like I still don't understand. I'm still like grappling with trying to understand why this is happening. And I would rather say the government should look into, they've taken out the subject which we grew up having, moral science. Remember we had the subject moral science? That's no longer there now. And I feel children should be inculcated with the moral values. ये नहीं रहा तो फिर आगे क्या होगा? नींव ठीक नहीं है तो फिर आगे कैसा बढ़ेगा? देश कैसा बढ़ेगा आगे? So, you know, with so much of technology going on, we have a lot of misinformation that's floating. Today, what's happened? We've got parents, both the parents are working. We don't have the joint family culture anymore. Nana nani kabhi kaban milte hain. Dada dadi to pata nahi, milte bhi hai ki nahi. So it's become like, you know, we've become disoriented there. Family ka structure change ho gaya. So earlier days, we learned these values from our grandparents. I'm sure the mothers would want to impart those values, but they are busy with their work. काम से फुर्सत मिले तो फिर ना बच्चों को वो ध्यान देंगे. So what they do, TV लगा के बिठा देते हैं. So, and what is the TV showing them today? You know it, and I know what's happening. So a little bit of basic has to be given. I feel what they have taken away, moral science, I feel is a subject that they should not have removed.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pai. Only my add-on to is this, that the fault lies with the women, with due apology. The women in India are more than 48% of the population. And see, in the policy making, how many MPs are there in parliament? How many MLAs are there? Why the women are not voting for the women? So fault lies with you, not with the men. If you will decide, if the women of India decide that we have to come, take the policy decisions, we have to come in the policy making, you have to come forward. And in no need of reservation, if all the women will start voting for the women candidate only, then the women will win. And then definitely the mindset will change, where the rituals which are conducted, done by the men today only, those doors will be open for women also. Okay? Anyway, that is again a different topic.
A different topic totally.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Pai. Now, only 30 seconds to each of you, starting with Dr. Rajiv. Any suggestion you want to give to either to the government or the public? 30 seconds.
So much before I give any suggestion to the government or to the public, let me share what I can do about it, that every individual should see mother and sister in every woman. Let things begin from there first. Let's treat every woman as a respectful woman, having equal rights as much as a man does have it. The basic principle of spirituality is, as she said a while back, the uniformity, commonality. There is no you and I. There is we. That's the first basic principle of spirituality.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Rashi Daga. 30 seconds. Please unmute. Please unmute. Please keep yourself unmute, all of you. Yeah.
So my suggestion would be for the rural India, that just like this high society here in Metropolis, we have counselors. I would suggest that the government should have counselors for these women who could interact and be vocal about and express their views and opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Shama.
I really feel connection between families is missing. Even the nuclear family, parents don't have time for their children. You know, children are busy with their work, etc. I feel a lot of good things come when families interact with each other. So my take on this is spend time with your children. You know, explain to them what we have spoken about today. You know, they are the young generation, the young India, the young world. And the more you teach them, the better it will be for the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, 30 seconds, Pai.
Yeah. So my thing is, let's all be more God-loving. Let's all be more forgiving. Let's all be more understanding towards each other. We never know what the other person's pain is all about. Let's not be judgmental. And
Okay.
let's live for now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So today you have seen, how the experts in the field have given their views, and one view is common: the spiritualism is nothing to do with the religion, and spiritualism is more with the women, because the women are always a giver, and they are from the very childhood, they are giving their whole life for the benefit of the family or the benefit of the society or the nation. And the message is very clear that the civil society, or especially the men, should start respecting, they must respect the women folk, so that we can really develop our family, our country. That is only possible if we will start giving the respect. And there no doubt about that, the correlation with the spirituality with the women is far more than the men, and men must respect it. Thank you very much for giving your views. Today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to address and every day bring you a new topic. And tomorrow, media conference with Lal Goel. The topic is prevention of sexual harassment in India. Yes, there is a law which is named as POSH, that is Prevention of Sexual Harassment in India. And our panelists are Honorable Justice Anjana Prakash, Senior Advocate, former Judge, Patna High Court, New Delhi, Advocate Kanishka Tyagi, Head Business Strategy, Legam Amicus, New Delhi, Advocate Divya Goel, Partner, Legam Access, New Delhi, Advocate Shivang Bhargava, New Delhi, and Mathura. Please tune in tomorrow to watch media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Thank you very much, Ms. Rashri. Thank you very much, Ms. Shama. And thank you very much, Ms. Radhika Pai, for joining and enlightening all of our viewers with your very, very expert views. Thank you, all the viewers, for joining us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.